So I don't look down. Every single one of you.
I want you to deal with your problems by becoming rich.
I can't even see you because I don't look down.
I'm not leaving. The show goes on. This is my home. They're gonna need a wrecking ball to take me out of here.
Don't look down.
Good timing, everybody, whether it's morning, evening, or in between, wherever you are in the world today. Welcome to unRekt Traders. Before we begin, please hit the like and subscribe and join us to share ideas, strategies, and learn together to make better trades. This is not financial advice, nor am I a financial advisor. This is strictly my thoughts and ideas, so let's get that crypto. All right, everybody, we'll get started here. Welcome to unRekt, live stream, public for the first time. We'll jump right into the monthly chart here. Bring up the levels on the monthly. And as of right now, we have resistance at the 43,500 level, support 31,500, and ultimate target of 20,700, let's say. So, before price can get to the target, it does have to work its way down past this support level. This is actually going to be a pretty strong support. You can see on the quasi level that it is quite high up still. So when price does work its way down, this will be an extremely strong support level. Likely we'll see a bounce off of that. Depending on how high it goes, will remain to be seen. But again, the monthly chart is still bullish. All the moving averages are pointing upwards. So we'll see what happens off of this 20, because we still have to get through that 20, come down to the support, and then from there, likely a rebound off of that before we even come down into this area, unless a major play gets put into place, and then we can move down to that area. Looking down into the weekly. Just give me a sec here. Just gonna move the screen. All right. So coming down into the weekly. So weekly levels, we have the 200 resistance of 44,800. Support level down here at 37,060 with the possible target of 35,700. And then a lower target of 21,400. The 23.2 is sitting at 28,000, let's just say 29,000. So that is going to be a hard area to break through to begin with. So, we might come down into this possible target, maybe to the bottom of this 50. If it does push to the 3.2, high possibility of a rebound back up into even up to the resistance area of 44,800. But this is the weekly levels. So we are within that 200 range, which, we've been trying to break for a considerable amount of time. Once we exited out of that 200 on the weekly, we saw the big push up. We found support over here. If we look at the quasi, it was well above the range of plus 100. So there's no possible way that it was going to break through. It did remain as support. And then from there, we saw the bounce up to the all-time high of 68,000. Once it did come into the range here in around, let's say, January 17th, January 20th, once it did come into that range, we were able to come into that area. And then, so now we've kind of been trapped into here. So it'll take a little bit to push us back out of that 200. And then, so we'll see what happens. We'll go down to the daily. Now on the daily levels, we're looking at a resistance level. Resistance level 44,000, let's say 900, and support level with the 20 Bollinger Band here at 39,600. And we do have a possible target of 42,700, which has been in effect for a couple days now. more or less since April 15th, we've been looking for the 42,700, currently sitting at 41,400. Now we will have the 50 here as a somewhat of a resistance level. And, we could kind of just move sideways up and down a little bit. And then, come up to the 50, the 20 will come down. Within 2 days, the 50 is going to be at the 20 is going to be at the 50 or just a little bit below it. We have the 10 pushing up into the range, about to go into like a little bit of a trend. So that might give us enough momentum to get up there. If it does go up and then straight back down, kind of like over here, then we could see, up to the 50, down to the 10, and then maybe up a little more, retest these support levels. Coming down into the 4 hour. And the 4 hours changed since the last time. So let me just quickly move these over a little bit. All right, so on the 4 hour, more or less within the 100, 200 as targets, coming up into the range here on the quasi. So they do want to come up to 42,250 and then 43,000 let's say 200. We do have the 3.2 on the 20 at 42,400. So that's going to be a very high resistance. Price only leaves the third standard deviation 0.3% of the time. We do have the 10, more or less let's say 20 and 50 are in trend. So as of present moment of time on the 4 hour, price can't go below, let's say 41,000. That'll actually be our true support as of right now in all actuality. Let me just mark that out. So that'll be the true support of 41,000. And price won't be able to come back down other than through wick until this 50 on the quasi comes into the range at plus 100. So, the 10 is kind of came, it's kind of borderline of breaking out. But, it did kind of go a little bit above it. It is coming down now. So the 10 could possibly be a target. It wasn't a clear exit, but this could be a current target for right now on the 10, on the 4 hour. So, and that would be, come down, try and break through this top of the Bollinger Band. It is pretty high on the 4 hour right now, as is the 20. So likely, it might come down, which it kind of already has in a little bit on this candle here. But come down, try and break through. If it can't, then see if we can get enough momentum to push up to at least the yellow. It's not going to go to the 200 as of right now, just because of where the 3.2 is, unless it goes, unless we get a ton of momentum, a lot of volatility. But these are pushing down on here as of right now. So, I would expect it's going to try and come into this range area here before making its way up to here. On the 1 hour, things have changed a little bit since my last posting in the Discord. So I'll just quickly kind of move these around. All right, so the 20 and 50 are still above the range, so these are going to act as supports, and they have been acting as support, as you can see here perfectly. The 20, the 20 was above the range, so like I said earlier, the wick was allowed to come down. The wick still couldn't get through the 50, and then the body never closed above that 20. So, and now we're kind of pushing back upwards. These are the 50, 200, 100, and even the 20 as of right now are trending. So price is going to want to move up as they're trending. This is only the 1 hour chart, so things do move pretty quickly. But we do have the higher resistance of the 3.2 at 40, let's say 42,000. And then, the first 20 support, which isn't the greatest support on an hourly, but it is still support of 41,300. But then you would have the 50 here as well at 41,250. So, this is a possible target, but as you can see, it is climbing quite quickly. So like next hour is going to be here, and then again here 2 hours from now, which would take us kind of to the top of this Bollinger Band on the 20. And then, but if price does reverse and the 20 and the 50 isn't that strong as of right now, there's a high probability that the wick would come down to this possible target now and then try and push further up. So, and then if this 50 does come into the range, then, the 200 would probably be the next likely target of, 40,300, but it's not a target as of now. I can only read what the chart says. So that's more or less the machine suite. I'm going to go into take a look at just into the pivots, and I might be able to see it on the 1 hour chart. It's possible. I'm going to remove I'll leave the higher time frame on. The blue's the quarterly, orange is the monthly, but more or less we're just going to look at the weekly and the daily for now. As when we were in this area here, the quarterly range, the bottom of it acted as a nice resistance level once we broke back through. So it has acted as a nice resistance, and as you can see, for the weekly did try to push down. Price opened up below the weekly range. It's a 50-50 of whether it's going to go straight to the weekly range or push down to the previous week low. In this instance here, we did push down to the previous week low, broke right through it, attempted to get to the weekly S1, failed by, maybe one, I'm not even sure what the percentage is, but so it failed by like 0.25%, where it didn't make it all the way. And then from there, we just basically pushed right up to the weekly range through the daily. And then we did, pushed up a little bit past it. We came back in, found resistance along there and support along the quarterly. Now we're into a new day here. So this day, as of the present moment in time, this is a naked daily. On the daily, we opened up above the daily range. So there's a 50% chance that it's going to go for the previous day high before going straight to the target. In this instance, we did push up to the previous day high, found resistance at it, broke through, and then when we broke through straight to the daily R1, from there we found the resistance, and then we started to break down into the previous day high. So the last post I did in the Discord, I showed that the target of where the machine wanted to go to was in and around this level. So I did post that likelihood we come back down to the previous day high, retest it, and then try and push up higher, or we'd break down and come down lower. So, this is going to act as a magnet. So price is going to want to come back to here, before the day's end. If it doesn't come to here before day's end, then it can take up to 4 or 5 cycles before it will. So we could stay bullish for now, but this will act as a magnet. So let me just remove the 1 hour here for the machine, and we'll go into the future outlook here. Let me just close this one. It's just no point really coming back to it. On the future outlook, I'm going to bring up the mother overlay here. So basically, from here, when we were back in February, I said that we were finding support off of this trend line. And then, well, I guess it would actually be March, sorry. So in March, acting as a support, likely push up into the 0.5 area, which we've done. And then, we have this trend line. We have this major trend line basically from February coming all the way down. It's acted as resistance. We're just kind of pushing up on the 0.5. and the top of that trend line again. So if we can break out, then likelihood will come up into this range here of, it'd be 0.16. So if you divide this up into a ratio, we're kind of sitting in, it's probably likely be in around here maybe. And then, so we're looking at like almost 50,000 basically. So if this can break up and push through here, we'll be looking at the, probably in and around here. So 50,000 area. And then if it can actually break out of this one, then we'd be looking at the top of the range, which would take us to, the top of this green here. So, and that would be the 70,500. But again, we have to get above this 0.5 before we can even consider this. We could get rejected off of here, break down to, in and around the 0.13, which would probably bring us back to this range right here, which would be the 39,300. And then if we fall through there, then the next stop would be in and around, let's say 0.3 down. So likelihood the support would be 34.5, and then from there straight down to 25,900. If I bring up the golden pie, it's gonna be a little messy, but let me get rid of the mother there. So the golden pie itself, if we go through history, it's kind of always shown the tops of when to short, historically anyway. These two white lines have shown the exact bottom for 2015 and 2018. It did show a long signal here as well. And then, the 2017 short. And then we also had the short of 2021. And although this wasn't the all-time high, I'm pretty sure you would have been pretty happy if you did short at that range anyway. Coming back down to the green, which is typically your mid buy line anyway. And then, so looking at the bottom lines, we are starting to kind of converge a little bit. So, placing us probably somewhere in and around here, which was the flat line, descending triangle of 2017, 2018. So that's kind of, if we look back historically, that's kind of where we're at. And then again, your buy areas, truly good buy areas would be starting at the yellow, which would be 27.9 and then 22.6, etc. If I bring up the 2-year MA, this does show, your basically your good sell points, DCAing out, DCAing in. We're not quite there for the buy signals yet for this range. We did kind of tip the red there for the first sell, but we haven't quite gotten down to the buy area here yet. And then if I do bring up this Bitcoin stock to flow indicator, can't remember who makes this one, but if I look through history again, for the 2013 top, we went from the green to the aqua into the blue. Same thing with 2017. Now these ones we did push up higher than we have so far for this cycle. But same thing, yellow, green, aqua, blue. So now we're sitting in the aqua, in and around this range area here. Historically, blue is our drop off. So, we could see a little more up, a little more sideways action. It goes to the blue, and then we get our nice drop down. So, the drop down, we take it from here to the bottom, it's 48%. And then from here to the bottom was pretty much, 48%. So if we take it from this bottom here, 48%, then we'd be looking in and around, the 19,000 area. And then if I do bring up I'm just going to bring it up onto here. the Nexus one for the high time frame, just to show it. I have to wait for it to load. And so if we look at the yearly on the Nexus higher time frames, this yearly range here is is naked as well. I could also come back into here, bring back the quarterly a couple. I got to do one more actually. Let's just take it back 10. So again, we have the quarterly here, which is also a naked, and then this would be an extreme one, but we'd be looking at 9,000 level, but to kind of focus more on this one here, 25,000 would be the top of the range level, and then if we came to the lower level ranges, even on the quarterly, then we're looking at like 19.7, which would take us pretty much right to the 2017 all-time high. So it's something to consider, something to look at. And then I don't know if I haven't done this, so we'll see what happens here. 48%. So 48% pretty much takes us to the bottom of that quarterly, more or less. So it'll be interesting to see if when we do turn blue, if we get that push down to this range area here. And then take a look at one more thing here. I'm just going to come back to just going to put this on for future, save it here. And I'm going to come in and take a look at the Gann chart real quick. So I haven't shown this in a while. So the Gann chart, let me just remove this here. And so basically the way that I've done this, from 2017, I had the 2017 in, just kind of basically just Gann lines, more or less, more so on price action than the true Gann. And I was just trying to find key levels, and then from drawing it out, this one here I kind of started in and around 2018 from when I drew these out, and I kind of just went with the peaks, and then found equal distances, and so each one of these is just an equal distance all the way down, all the way through. And I found like it was making nice confluences based upon price. So as we made a lows and whatnot, I continued to do it, from 2018 bottom, for example, and again, I started drawing this one in and around, probably in around here. And then you can see that, this is a 3-year-old. These lines are all pretty well 3 years old. I have added some, as we went higher, just because, I pretty much probably only came to here originally. And then I did add some as we were going, but, it does find some pretty nice confluence levels. So as of right now, we're kind of sitting in here. If I put target levels in and kind of zoom in a bit, these are the next levels for each on the daily for if we break a line, kind of what we're looking for the next line. Now, is it perfect? No, but it is a nice view to look at to just get levels. Again, I did the 2021 high from here, and again, they are hitting them pretty nicely. And then when we did hit the 2021 high, I started doing it again. These are all pretty new lines. And then again, like the more I show, the more confusing it gets. But from the 2021 high, it's showing some good confluence levels still. So I think that's pretty much it for Bitcoin. So I'm going to end this stream here. We're kind of pushing some time. I'm going to go back into Discord, and then I'll answer some questions and answers in there. And then we'll finish up within the next half hour or so. So thank you for joining, and see you in the next one.